Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Motive Racing League for our Tier 1 race this evening. We've just seen a brilliant race from our Tier 2 drivers. Hopefully we'll see more with a full grid this evening of Tier 1 drivers. So let's jump on the monitor as they all get ready to come out the pits for their qualifying session here at Oulton Park. Let's see which drivers are out first. Like I say, a full grid of drivers this evening, ready to perform. Lots of practices have been happening today. So our first driver out on track, the only G, our new world record holder around here in the V8 supercars. He has been practicing for 3 days and finally got that world record, so fair play to him. We're glad to have a world record holder here at Motive Racing League, and he must know the track very well now. I don't really know how many laps he did, but I'm sure it was a lot throughout that 3 days. So just watching now, he's warming his tyres up as he goes out onto his out lap. We see as well this evening we've got our commentator and race leader, well, league leader, Andy, out on the track as well. Very good to see him out on the track this evening as he's just rolling out of the pits. So we're joined on board with a couple other drivers. Ollie, who had a brilliant race last night, also out on track. So as you see, these boys have the same qualifying as our Tier 2, 15 minutes, which will then be changed up for their feature race with only 10 minutes. And the top 5 out of this first race cannot qualify for that session. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I was just sorting the stream out, renaming it to what it should be, and I'm just seeing the boys now on their first flying lap. Our first comment this evening, saying my mate Gypsy George says go Peanut. We'll jump on board with him there in that black and fluorescent Clio this evening as he comes through the chicane on his first lap. Looks to be flying at the moment, using all the track he can. I'll have to keep an eye on him. He is always good in qualifying, good with car setups. He's always helped our drivers, and with wheel setups. As he heads towards Lodge Corner now to end his first lap. With only 11 minutes to go this qualifying session, so you've got to use that full 15 minutes to your best. There we go, he's on provisional pole at the moment, a 1:48.4. Brilliant lap time to be starting out with. Pushing that car as much as he can as he now goes past Lakeside. And in second at the moment we've got X, the only G, Currently 1.2 seconds off the pace, but I'm sure that will be changed very soon. Especially with a lot of other drivers we've got in this evening. There we go, Grandad Steve puts it in second. Only 0.3 off the pace. So let's jump on board for a lap with him as well. As he heads down towards Cascades now. A very tricky corner to get right. You've got to try and keep as much power on as you can as he's sliding sideways. Tries not to run wide, as we see there on the left, the lake. That is why this straight is called Lakeside. Down to Island Bend now. Flat out through there, pushing the car as much as you can. Into shallow hill corners, slamming on the brakes, down to second gear. Power straight back on, keeping those revs high. We now head towards Britain's 3 very twisty and tight corners in one. A very tight chicane this is. Trying to keep as much speed as you can as you head up the hill. Revs up as much as you can. With these little cars, it's all about trying to keep a flow and not outbraking yourself and losing all that speed and power. And now into Hislops we go. Another chicane here at Oulton Park for this evening's race. Out of there into Nickelbrook. Keeping as much speed again. Up Clay Hill we go. Now we're looking towards Drew's corner. Another tricky corner to try and keep the power on. It's a double apex. He does that brilliantly. Straight out, using all the track he can. Into the last corner of the international circuit here at Oulton Park. Lodge corner. Trying to keep it tight, not getting onto the outside bit of the track. As we see him now coming across the line. Is it going to be an improved lap? Unfortunately not. Our provisional pole at the moment is JR, our championship leader at the moment. He's had some brilliant battles throughout the season. He did win last week at Monaco. And a brilliant lap time that is, a 1:47.8 at the moment. We see ALTEL is currently in the pits, so he might be doing a bit of a splash and dash. The same for Ollie. Ollie's currently on 3rd position. We're halfway through this qualifying session at Oulton Park for our sprint race here at Motive Racing League. And further down the drivers list we do have Smokey Devil in again. He's just took part in our tier 2 race, so it's good to have a few different drivers in this evening. Our tier 2 drivers. Motoring Morgan on board now, our second in championship driver. Comes down to shallow corners, slamming on the brakes, trying to keep it as tight as you can to be able to get the power on straight away. Looks like JR's in the pits, so he must be content with that lap he's done. Our second place man, ALTEL. We can see how close it is at the front. Our top 6 drivers nearly within a second of our current leader JR, who is sat in the pits. Must be content with his lap time at the moment. We're joined on board with a couple of different drivers. Here's Smithy sliding that car around, one of the fastest controller drivers we've got here at Motive Racing League. If you are new to Motive Racing League and if you do like what you see, please feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do have racing throughout the week, and if you would like to join in with the racing, have a look at our Facebook page, which is Motive Racing. Click the big button which will send you to our Discord server where you can sign up and maybe be on the start line for next week's race at Monza Short, our season finale. Obviously there are 5 minutes left to qualifying to go, as these boys currently still out on track trying to push these cars as much as they can. Not much change in the order of the drivers at the moment. Smith, you're pushing that little Clio as much as he can, using the whole of the track, as he's got only G in front of him at the moment. Both running the same sort of pace, so maybe they'll be using each other's draft to try and improve. 1.1 off the pace at the moment, both of those pair. 4 minutes to go now for our drivers. It looks like Smithy's got a couple of drivers catching up to him from behind, so I'll have to be wary of them as to whether they are catching up. But whilst we do have this time, I will read through some information about this track for this evening's race. The track length is 2.692 miles. It does have 17 corners. The lap record currently held by Gareth Rees is a 1:24.6, which is in a British F2 car. The boys definitely won't be beating that this evening in their little Renault Clios. The major events held here is the British Touring Car Championship, British F3, British GT and the British Superbike, so it is well known throughout British motorsport. Each of these 17 corners are very individual. Some, like we see there, very fast. Fortunately Smithy getting it wrong and touching the grass, but we do have corners which are very tight and twisty, where you do have to be very intricate as to what race line you're taking. We join on board now with Grandad Steer, as we saw that online lap with that on board lap with earlier. We've just had a comment there from JR, who is our current pole sitter. He can't do anything about G's pace this evening, he's too quick apparently. But JR is currently on pole with G in 6th position. So I'll have to keep an eye on how G is doing. Obviously, like I said, he has got the world record around here in the V8 supercars, so he does know this track very well. See motoring Morgan there shortens that gap to JR now just by 5/10 it is. It looks like he's on a slow lap at the moment, might be just cooling his car down to go once more before the end of this qualifying session. Just behind him, Peanut on track at the moment, must be looking to improve from 3rd position. Flying round, coming towards Shallow corner, slamming on the brakes, down to 2nd gear, locking up the rear. Straight back on the power, using as much track as he can now. Slowing the car right down there to get through the chicane as cleanly as he can. Up the hill we go. And he comes around the last corner. Is he going to be able to improve on that lap time? Decrease that 5/10 he is behind our leader JR at the moment. Unfortunately he's unable to, but he does have time to go once more. Only a few seconds left of this qualifying session, so everyone that is left out on their lap is on their final lap now. And it looks like the laps have changed now. The driver roster for this evening's sprint race has been messed up. JR now moved on to third, where it looks like Bowie and the only G working together to slipstream to get themselves on pole, and 1:47.3 and a 1:47.8 from these two drivers. Well, that's what happened when teamwork works well, ladies and gentlemen. These two have managed to put it on pole and second in the last seconds of this qualifying second session for our sprint race. We're on board with our very consistent driver, RDJ, coming round towards the last corner of his lap. Can he improve? 2.4 seconds behind at the moment. Very unfortunate, Rob. We have seen him last time we were at Oulton Park leading the feature race, showing his pace around here. So can he improve as he comes across the line? We'll look at the timing sheets. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our qualifying session over for this evening's sprint race at Oulton Park in the Clio Cup. We've got the only G on pole, with Bowie second, working well together to use slipstream and get themselves on top. Then behind him we have JR, who is our championship leader. Behind him, Ollie in 4th position, motoring Morgan in 5th, who is second in the championship at the moment, so he's got some work to do. AL Tell in 6th, Grenadstein in 7th, Smithy in 8th, Dycrox in 9th, RDJ 10th, Falguest 11th, DJ Phil, brilliant showing there, in 12th. Smoky Devil unfortunately unable to do a lap. Same for Andy, but we are going to see brilliant performances hopefully from both of them on track. Let's get on the grid and get this started, ladies and gentlemen. If you do like what you see, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We shall have racing again on Friday with our GT5 drivers out on track. We're going to jump on the cameras now, trackside. There we go. Let's join trackside as we see all our cars lined up on the grid. There we see the Monster Energy sponsorship livery of the only G, often seen at the front of grids. Will he be able to get away from Bowie off the start line? And also a fierce number of drivers chasing him down behind into that first corner. Ladies and gentlemen, please leave a comment of who you think will win this race. If you're only just joining us, we're about to start our sprint race here at Motive Racing in the Clio Cup. Our Tier 1 drivers have just qualified, are about to get underway. Drivers just putting the setups in now. Couple of seconds to go until the lights will be activated and the drivers will be sent down into the first corner. There we are, all drivers are set in now, in their driver's seat, revving their engines. There we go, the first lights out. And the lights go green and away we go here at Oulton Park. A brilliant start there for G. Fortunately Bowie didn't get the best of starts, but he manages to keep it in second. As we see now, Bowie just losing a bit of time there off the start line. We'll join on board a bit further down the grid. Brilliant start from all our drivers there. A line of cars chasing behind. We're on board with RDJ in the middle of that pack at the moment, trying to take the outside line just to keep away from any other cars. We don't want any first lap antics at the moment. We'll join back on board at the front as it looks like Bowie's caught right up to the back of the only G. Will they be too wide in the shallow corner? There we go, very safely around there we see our seasonal drivers. There we see a trail of cars just coming around. We just saw there Motoring Morgan just clipping the curb and he loses him some time. Grandad staying out side by side as they come down the hill into the next chicane. And further down the grid we see we're on board now with Andy, our usual race commentator, but for this evening he is racing. It's good to see him out there on track battling with our drivers. It looks like RDJ's had a problem on the first lap. He's dropped down to last at the moment. He'll be definitely wanting to improve on this as he's pushing his way back up the field. We'll have to keep an eye on how he does. Further up the field though, we'll keep an eye on this train of cars as they come to finish their first lap of the race. Coming out of that lodge corner up over the leap. A brilliant battle here. We see going on for 4th position. Ollie at the front at the moment. Motoring Morgan just sitting behind him. And then we've got Grandad Stee in the mix as well. Ollie taking the wider line there through Cascades onto the Lakeside Straight. Is Morgan going to be able to slipstream? And it looks like Grandad Stee is though. Ollie defending that line. As we go into Island Bend, down to Shallow Corner now. Our race leader, the only G at the moment, and it looks like Bowie's got a penalty. Very unfortunate this early in the race. So let's have a look at 1 second penalty there for Bowie. That's going to play effect later on in the race. And we'll look now further down the grid on board with Smithy as he comes out of Britain's as well, up over the hilltop. No one around him at the moment, just sticking in 4th position. He will be wanting to chase these boys in front there battling, so they'll be slower than him. A brilliant race start from all of these. As I say, this is tier 1. No incidents happened on the first lap. It's good to see these boys on such a tight track able to get away safely. Unfortunately there a touch of bumpers between it looked like Grandad Stee maybe. I don't know who else was involved in that. But there we see Smithy's now caught up to the back of this group. He won't want to stick around with these boys. He'll want to get past and get going and catch the boys in front. We usually see Smithy up at the front, as we saw last night. If you did watch our GT feature race, he did come second. The best of the rest, as we say, with King Venom, our guest driver this season, an S5000 world record holder. Was the only driver faster than him in the feature race, so it was good to see Smithy up there at the front. And if you look now back at the front of the race, it looked like Bowie's dropped back 3 seconds, very unfortunate for him. And it looks like JR's taken his position in second as well. So we're on board with JR, who is chasing down our race leader. If we look here, just in the distance there, going down towards Hislop chicane. The only G still in control of this sprint race. JR looking to get as many points as he can for the championship, as he is still the leader. Our second in the championship though. Motoring Morgan moves up to 3rd position. Bowie looks to have dropped lots of positions there, down into 9th now. So I don't know what's happened with him, but he might have span off there at the chicane. If you're just joining us, you're on board with JR, our championship leader here at Motive Racing League. We have our Clio Cup Tier 1 race this evening. Please comment who you think is going to win this sprint race. Obviously, if they do win the sprint race and the rest in the top 5 will not be able to qualify for the feature race. So it's going to be very interesting as we are a quarter of the way through this race now. 14.5 minutes to go on to lap 4. We still see a battle going on for 5th position at the moment, with these 3 drivers at Oulton, Grandad's T and Smithy. Oulton driving at the front at the moment. Smithy just sitting at the back. He won't want to be staying there too long. He'll want to get back past these and start battling for podium positions. But with a track this tight and twisty, it's quite hard to do unless a mistake is made in front of you. And we see there on the lap data RDJ in the pits at the moment, so whether he's picked the wrong tyres or not enough fuel, we'll have to ask him at the end of the race as he gets underway again. At the front of the race there, we're on board with only G. We just saw at the back of that image, we'll see now JR with his lights on intimidating the only G as they head into his lap chicane. Is this gap going out or not? We'll have to keep an eye on that. We're on board now with Ollie, with a group of cars just behind him, so he'll have to try and push on, stay away from those boys. He doesn't want to get overtaken and start losing positions, as he is currently in 4th, which is great points for the sprint race this evening here at Oulton Park. So further down our field we do see our 2nd position qualifier, 2 wide. We see there into Drew's corner. Bowie making it work though as he comes past Dicrox, following the back of the picture there in his green Clio. Might be a battle on for these boys as well for top 10 positions. Back up to the front, we're on board with Ollie going into corner 1. Looks like we're going to be 2 wide as we head down towards Cascade between Ollie and Motory Morgan. There we go, very good driving from these pair as we go onto Lakeside Straight now. Hopefully it's not going to be too wide into Island Bend, because it doesn't work too well, obviously touching the grass around there flat out. We do see a lot of cars spinning out. We managed to keep it safe and in one line though. Still a battle going on between Bowie, Dicrox and Faldo for this mid-pack positions. Andy just jumping on the back of that group as well there, we see at the back of the picture. These boys at the moment though do currently all have penalties, which is very unfortunate, but due to this track being very tight, it is easy to run over the curbs and unfortunately get yourself your penalties. So as we see there, the best laps at the moment, the boys at the front are on the pace. Only G's best lap on 1:47.4. JR only 2 tenths back though at the moment on the best laps. And on the right hand side of your screen there's the penalties. Unfortunately at the moment there is quite a few. We will have to keep an eye on that because that will play a big factor at the end of the race. And it looks like JR's got a penalty there as well. Talking about them, the commentator's curse taking over. There we are on board with our race leader again. Very consistent driving from G so far as we reach nearly the halfway point of this sprint race. Coming down to Cascades, down 1 gear, back on the power, trying to get as much speed out of this car before he enters the straight. Trying to pull that gap out even more from JR. JR I think does have a 1 second penalty, and he does, as you see there on your screen, so if he does catch up to the only G, he's going to have to pull away at least a second to get the win in this sprint race. Just behind we can still see this battle going on for podium positions between these 4 drivers. We've got Motory Morgan at the front, Ollie just behind Grandad Steve and Smithy just behind. A 4 pack of cars all battling to get on the podium in this race. Grandad Steve pulls out to the right, just thinks better of it and gets back in behind Ollie to try and get a better line through the chicane to get a good run up over the hilltop now. Our 4 drivers here battling. As we see there, just at the back of the picture, the fluorescent and black car of Oulton is looking to catch up to these boys. It looks like Smithy just misses the chicane there, very unfortunate. He will have a slowdown for that and he takes it. So it's just these 3 boys now at the moment. as we come up to Drew's corner. Flying around there in a line. Further back we still have this battle on for a top 10 position. Dycrox looks to be up the inside there of Val. Looks like they might be side by side here into the last corner. Val up the inside, a brilliant overtake there, but it will lose the speed of the exit there. We see Dycrox now back in the lead. Very unfortunate there for Val. And we see this battle still going on for our podium position, our last podium position in this sprint race here at Oulton Park for our Tier 1 drivers at Motive Racing League. We've still got Motoring Morgan powering on at the front, trying to get a gap away from these boys and stop the pressure so he can keep that podium position, but Ollie isn't giving up. Ollie's only 4 tenths back now behind. As you can see there in your picture, Ollie's in the blue and red car, with Grandad C just behind Ollie as well. There's Smithy as well in the purple and white car. We're on board with him now. Oulton also coming into the picture as well, so it might be a 5-car battle with only less than 8 minutes to go of this sprint race. And we're just going under 7 minutes to go. We're still watching this battle here between the 5 cars who are battling it out for a podium position in this sprint race. There will be a feature race after this, but for 2 cars they will be able to qualify for that feature race. So will people play it tactically and maybe slow down on the last lap if you're still battling to be able to qualify and hopefully get on the top step of that qualifying session and maybe get away in that feature race? Or will you want more points in the sprint race and hopefully get on the podium? A very tactical race to be had now as we reach 6.5 minutes ago. If you are just joining us here at Motive Racing, we are watching a 5-car battle for the podium in our first Tier 1 race of the evening. Back at the front wheel, we'll join on board with our race leader, the only G, driving very consistently, increasing that gap to JR, our championship leader, up to 5.5 seconds now. So he looks to be flying, the only G. No one can match his pace this evening. And in 3rd position, this battle still going on. Ollie all over the back of Motoring Morgan now as we come towards Drew's corner. This train of cars. Oulton just sitting at the back there. A very known tactic of Oulton, just not to burn his tyres out, not to be pushing these boys. Just wait for his moment when these boys make a mistake and just take it and go. Which he tried to do at Hockenheim when there was a 4-car battle between myself, Morgan, JR and Oulton. Very unfortunate for Oulton, he wasn't able to contend for the race win there, but it is a tactic which will work, not burning tyres up, as we still have 5 minutes to go and these boys are pushing to try and get that podium spot. Morgan still, like he has sat for the whole of the race, on that podium spot at the moment. So we shall try and join on board with one of these drivers. Grandad see our 3rd place driver in the train, cutting to the inside there of the Shell Oil airpin as they head now towards Britain, slamming on the brakes, down to 2nd gear, trying to take the perfect line there to get a good drive up over the hilltop Is anyone going to go for the inside into his lap chicane now? No, they managed to stay in the train, very safe there. Stee looks to have outbraked himself a little bit. They'll lose his drive now as we go up over the hilltop. There we go, we can see that gap looks to be growing now. We'll try and look at the trackside cameras and see how close the boys are behind. Smithy looks to be all over the back of Grandad Stee now, after that mistake made at Britain's. Peanut looks to be going to the inside into the final corner of Smithy. It looks to be a brilliant overtake there, but it will lose his drive now onto the straight, so Smithy might be able to get back. Smithy's on the inside now as we go towards the line. Smithy should get on the... And Smithy looks to have not chased that one. Very safe driving there from Smithy. Smithy content to stay behind AL Talent at the moment. And it looks like Morgan looks to have nearly lost it. Or was it Ollie? Ollie looks to have nearly lost it. Very good driving there from Ollie. Managing to keep it on the track after just touching the curb. There we see in the distance JR only 3 seconds in front of these boys now. The only G on lap 10 as well as these cars. 5 seconds in front of our second position driver. Absolutely flying tonight, only G is. Coming out to Shallow Corner now, this train of cars chasing down JR, our championship leader. Motoring Morgan's second in the championship, so he's looking to get as many points off JR this evening as he can. At the moment, JR is looking the better off man. Although, if we do have a look again, JR does have that 1 second penalty, which if these boys do catch up, it will be taken into consideration in the results. And as we look at the timing now, 2 minutes left to go in this sprint race. A phenomenal race from these 5 boys at the moment. The only battle going on, as I can see on the timing sheets though at the moment. As we see there, Altal runs a little bit wide there coming out of the corner. Manages to keep on the track, very safe there as Smithy just pulls in front of him. So at the moment it is Motoring Morgan leading the way for the last podium position as they enter lap 12 very shortly. Ollie in second. It looks like Grandad Stee might be going for the inside into the first corner. We're side by side across the line, Ollie and Grandad Stee. Grandad Stee on the inside, he manages to get it done and takes that position for 4th. Motoring Morgan though looks to be getting away as he's not battling with these boys. So Motoring Morgan looks to have gapped about 1.5 seconds now in front. Ollie back on the inside. Grandad Stee spins. Very unfortunate there for Grandad Stee. As we'll join back on board. Very unfortunate though for Grandad Stee. We're joined back on board with this 3-car battle. Touching bumpers, touching sides. 1 minute to go now of this sprint race. They're pushing as hard as they can. Ollie pulling away a little bit from these 2 boys behind ALTL and Smithy. Morgan looks to have got away now as we see in the distance there. 1.5 seconds in front of these boys battling behind. Grandad Stee manages to stay in 7th position, but he looks to be under pressure though from Bowie as they come through Britain's and up the hill. Smithy just coming through his lap chicane now with the 2 cars, one in front, one behind. Smithy definitely won't want to be staying in 5th position. Whether that's tactically letting ALTL in front so he can qualify for the feature race, or to move up into 4th place. Obviously you can see there on the timing the red over their race position is if they've got a penalty. So Smithy at the moment does have a penalty. All he does, so we'll join back on board with our leader as he crosses the line to start lap 12. So there is going to be the one last lap of this race. We'll join back on board with this battle as they go across the line. Smithy looking into the inside of Ollie. He thinks better of it though, and just sits in behind as they go down towards Cascades now. The 3-car battle, battling for 4th position. Morgan managed to get away a couple of laps ago and has kept that gap out. Unfortunately Grandad Stee did spin out the last lap we came to here. Down we go then, down Lakeside for the final time in this sprint race. Lap 12 we are on, heading towards Shell Oil Corner now. Is anyone going to try and go around the outside? All the boys staying in line. It looks like Oulton tries to go up the inside, but the move is covered by Smithy. Very good driving there from both drivers to not take each other out. We'll look a little bit further down the field. There is a battle going on for 7th position. Bowie looks to have got past Grandad Steen now. Both with penalties though. Let's see what those penalties are. So we've got Bowie with a 5-second penalty. Very unfortunate there for Bowie. So at the moment Grandad Steen will take 7th position. I don't know if Grandad Steen knows that, but he definitely will at the moment as things stand though. Ollie with that 1-second penalty leading this pack of cars. Smithy pulling to the side to hopefully get up the inside of Ollie as we come towards the end of this race. 2 corners left. Smithy gets up the inside, gets it done, and takes the lead of this little battle. Oulton coming alongside Ollie now. He thinks better of it, pulls to the right hand side to try and get a better run. He pulls at the inside, a bump there from Ollie. We still have Smithy in the lead. Oulton now moves up to second in this battle, and it looks like Smithy took the win in that battle there. But overall race win, we have the Only G. A brilliant race there from Only G. Pulled away from the start, qualified on pole, and got away from the boys battling behind. JR was our 2nd position driver, our championship leader at the moment. Morgan ran out of laps to chase him, as we saw there throughout. He was battling with the boys behind, but managed to get away towards the end of the race. Smithy, our 4th placed driver there. Brilliant battle towards the end. Managed to get from 7th position towards the end and managed to get it up into 4th, as we saw. So well done there to Smithy. Oulton as well managed to come from the back of that group as well as Smithy and get into 5th position. Now obviously Oulton and Smithy are unable to race as well as all the others in the top 5. Unable to qualify, sorry, for the next race, which is our feature race. So we hope you can join us for that race. We're going to pause the stream now, and then we'll start it again when we get into qualifying for that race. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this sprint race here at Motor Racing League Tier 1. We'll just read out the results now. So obviously G took the win, 7 seconds, an incredible first race here at Oulton Park in the Clio Cup, a 7-second win for Only G. Then was second our championship leader JR Lock and Load. Motor Morgan finishing off the podium in 3rd. Smithy with that brilliant battle towards the end we saw coming away with 4th. Oulton 5th. Ollie, unfortunately with that penalty, came 6th. Grandad Steen in 7th. Bowie, who qualified 2nd, a very unfortunate race from his perspective there, but hopefully he can have a good qualifying session and get away in our feature race. Andy, our commentator, came in 9th, a very good race there. He started from the back and built his way up. Dycrox 10th, Smoky Devil, our tier 2 driver, finishes 11th. Foulguest 12th, DJ Phil 13th. A brilliant race there. We hope you can join us for our 2nd race, our feature race this evening.